In 2012, the Houston Astros were really bad. In 2013, they were worse. 2014 was much better, but when you're only winning like 50 games a year, it doesn't take much to improve, so 70 wins look good for the Astros that year. Although that is a joke, there were a couple of bright spots on that team, young guys who could potentially contribute to a championship. Jose Altuve was good that year, so was George Springer, who made his first major league appearance, and as far as how the pitching went, however, they had some solid pieces there, and one of those solid pieces was Dallas Keuchel. He has been one of the better pitchers in baseball ever since, well, within reason. The last couple years have been atrocious for him, and although that is the case, Keuchel refuses to take any responsibility, and is now going as far as to blame his teammates for his own failures. In 2012, Dallas Keuchel's rookie season, he played to the theme of his team, doing horribly. He pitched to a 5.27 ERA in 2012 and a 5.15 ERA in 2013, but 2014 was the start of something special. He threw 200 innings on the dot, struck out 146 hitters, and pitched his way to a 2.93 ERA. It only started to improve from there. Keuchel then went out and not only threw 32 more innings than he did the previous year, but he pitched to an ERA under 2.5, striking out well over 200 hitters and taking home the American League Cy Young Award. 2016 was a struggle, but Keuchel ended up playing a big part in the 2017 championship, and although wasn't quite as dominant as his Cy Young year and guys like Justin Verlander, Charlie Morton, and Garrett Cole, Keuchel put together a really solid 2018 season, signed a late one-year deal with the Braves for 2019, and had yet another really solid season, and back to the free agent market he went. Keuchel ended up getting 3 years this time around, worth $55 million, all with the Chicago White Sox, and Keuchel made sure to have a good first impression in the South Side in the shortened 2020, making 11 starts and throwing over 63 innings, all to the tune of a 1.99 ERA. Things were looking great for him, and at this point in time, Dallas Keuchel was arguably one of the best pitchers in the game. Were there better options? Sure, but this seemed real and proven by Keuchel. 2021 featured a really solid White Sox team that took advantage of their weak division to win 93 games in the American League Central Crown. The offense was solid, and so was the pitching. Lucas Giolito, Dylan Cease, Lance Lynn, who finished third in the AL Cy Young voting, and Carlos Rodon. That's a really good rotation. Oh yeah, I forgot, Dallas Keuchel exists. He might as well have been off the team that year, because that would have actually been more productive than what was actually the case. Keuchel was on that pitching staff in 2021 through 162 innings, yet was one of the worst pitchers in baseball. His ERA was 5.28, he struck out the fewest number of batters per 9 innings of any pitcher in the league, and it was just a nightmare for him on the mound. Alright, well, it happens. 2022, here we come. Only to become even worse. In his first start of the 2022 season, Dallas Keuchel went 5 innings, giving up 3 runs on 6 hits. It could be way worse, so maybe a subtle sign of good things to come. The White Sox then went to Cleveland, and on the first game of a day-night doubleheader on April 20th, Dallas Keuchel made his second start of the season. To start his outing off, Tim Anderson would make a bad throw for an error. The very next hitter would then reach on another bad throw, this time third baseman Jake Berger. Jose Ramirez flied out, Franmil Reyes walked, Ahmed Rosario grounded out for an RBI, and Josh Naylor hit a ball that hit Rosario heading for second, so that was the inning. A couple errors, but only 1 run. Could be worse. Keuchel then went and said, "Hold my entire career," because that's what will be on the line after this inning. In the bottom of the second inning, Dallas Keuchel failed to record a single out. There was yet another error to start the second, this time with it being Tim Anderson again, who would botch a ground ball and not get it to first in time. 1 man on. This was followed by a single, another single, another single, another single, and then a grand slam by Jose Ramirez to make it 7-0. That was then followed by a single, a wild pitch, a single, another error by Tim Anderson, another single, and by the time Keuchel was taken out of the game, it was 10-0 in favor of the Guardians of the Galaxy. The White Sox ended up losing the game 11-1. Now, don't get me wrong, 3 errors by Tim Anderson in 2 innings, that's bad, and there's no other way around it. 4 errors overall while Keuchel was on the mound. Yeah, that doesn't help. Errors suck, and pitchers get unlucky sometimes, but when you give up 10 runs, that's probably more like your own fault. During the outing, Keuchel walked more hitters than he struck out. He only walked 1 hitter, which of course means he struck out 0 Guardians hitters. He could not get a swing and a miss to save his life. They teed off of him. So, after the game, he must have understood that although his shortstop did commit 3 errors, the only person he should be blaming is himself. If he was somewhat decent that day, Cleveland doesn't score 10 runs off of Keuchel, whether Anderson made those errors or not. Well, believe it or not, Keuchel did not take any responsibility for giving up 10 runs on 10 hits with 0 strikeouts. After the game, Keuchel said that he felt like he only made 2 bad pitches, one of them being the cutter he threw to J-Ram that was ripped for a grand slam, saying that he'd take 9 singles and a blast, 3 hard hit balls all day, first pitch swings, ground balls, something that he all wanted. He was then asked about the bad defense behind him. Chris Sale is the perfect example of how to take accountability of yourself. If his team committed 4 errors on a start of his, of course he would hope they do better, but he would sure as hell not put any blame on them, even in a circumstance where he should and it would be valid to. When asked about the bad defense in Cleveland, instead of shooting down the idea that his defense was mostly to blame, Dallas Keuchel did the opposite. He didn't show any support for his shortstop who had a rough day, instead saying, quote unquote, just when you've seen it all, you really haven't. And he left it at that. For obvious reasons, this is an awful look. Dallas Keuchel has been a really bad pitcher for a while now, and sure, he could definitely somehow get back to his 2015 form, but as of right now, he is very far from that, considering he's a pitcher that teams probably look forward to facing. So not only is Dallas Keuchel a bad pitcher right now, but he's a bad teammate too. Let me know what you think about this, and thank you for watching.